Chapter 4 The Geography of Life. Alexander Selkirk was a Scottish privateer born in 1676. Selkirk left ashore at Mas-a-Tierra Island with clothes, bedding, tools, flintlock, tobacco, kettle, and a Bible. He was rescued years later and told his story. He unknowingly lived in a laboratory of evolutionary change. The island had rare plants and animals found nowhere else, but did not have any native species of amphibian, reptile, or mammals on the island. Darwin looked at these patterns through his own travels on the Beagle. He realized evolution was necessary to explain not just origins of animals and plants, but their distribution around the globe. He had lots of pondering questions that it occupied 2 chapters in his book, The Origin. Biogeography. Religion started to be questioned. Noah's Arks and the Bible's explanation had problems. How did kangaroos and earthworms make way across oceans to Australia? No boat could hold them. Louis Agassiz believed that not only were species immutable and static, but so were their distributions at or near their site of creation. Darwin's theories. Darwin and Charles Lyell found out the Earth was not very old. Darwin found fossil seashells on mountains. Distributions of species were explained not only by creation but by evolution. If plants and animals had ways of dispersing over large distances and could evolve into new species after they dispersed, could explain biogeography. Darwin was not only completely right, continental drift and molecular taxonomy explained his gaps in theory. Continents. Supercontinent, DNA, and protein sequence helped us determine time and relationships between species with poor fossil record. Africa and South African plants are similar because they both once inhabited supercontinent Gondwana. Many desert plants are succulents but are in different locations. They look similar, but they are fundamentally different because they are created for specific habitats.
Examples of convergent evolution. Cacti and euphorbs share similar characteristics, yet cacti occupy southern and northern America, unlike euphorbs that are from southern Africa. In order for these plants to survive the extremely harsh climates, they developed adaptations that are the same in both plants, even though they are unrelated. These characteristics include branching stems covered in longitudinal ribs. These ribs are able to contract in periods of very hot weather or climate, acting as a shield in order to protect the stomata. This is especially efficient in desert environments because the plant is able to protect its pores, conserve water, and regulate gas exchange. Speciation is the process by which a common ancestor gives rise to many different descendants. Natural selection is the process by which only organisms that are best adapted to their environment survive. Common descent refers to how groups of organisms share the most common ancestor, and all these make up convergent evolution. Glaciation. 290 million years ago, during the Permian period, all the southern continents and subcontinents faced glaciation. During glaciation, glaciers move. As they move, they bring rocks along with them, leaving scratches, and this is how we know the direction the glaciers are moving. Continental islands were before connected to a continent, but then got separated. Unlike oceanic islands, were never connected to any continents.
Oceanic islands. Oceanic islands don't have many different types of species. The types that are found are plentiful with many similar species. For example, Galapagos Island contains 28 species of bird found nowhere else. From the 28, 14 of them belong to a single group of closely related birds, the Galapagos finch. Despite their shared traits, they are quite diverse ecologically. Finches. Galapagos finches species specialize on different types of food. The woodpecker finch, for example, uses tools to pry insects from trees. There is even a vampire finch that pecks wounds on the rear ends of seabirds and consumes the blood. Hawaii has a greater spread of bird species. When Polynesians arrived to Hawaii approximately 1,500 years ago, they found about 140 species of native bird. From these 140 species, around 60, nearly half of the bird fauna were honey creepers. All the species derived from a single ancestral finch that arrived on the islands nearly 4 million years ago. Only 20 species remain, all endangered due to hunting, habitat loss, and human-introduced predators. The bill of the bird can tell us a lot of their diet. Some have curved bills to sip nectar from flowers, others parrot-like bills to crack seeds open. Islands. Oceanic islands also have similar trends for plants and insects. Hawaii only makes up 0.004% of Earth's land, but has about 1,000 of the world's 2,000 species of Drosophila. Some plants in the sunflower family on the Juan Fernandez archipelago and St. Helena have become small woody trees. Islands are missing many groups that live on continents and continental land, and the groups that are found on islands have many similar species. Geography. The first column can colonize an island through long distances through flight, wind, and seeds attaching to flying animals. The second column cannot. Land mammals and reptiles can't swim very far, while amphibians and freshwater fish won't survive in salt water. Animal dispersal. Darwin showed that some plant seeds can germinate after prolonged immersion in seawater. Caged birds can retain plant seeds in their digestive tract for a week or more. There have also been successful attempts sampling insects in the air using traps attached to planes or ships far from land. Spiders even disperse by ballooning with parachutes of silk, and they are found hundreds of miles from land, showing these animals can get to islands. Species on islands. Also, when looking at insects colonizing islands, they are usually small, which can easily be picked up by the wind. When looking at plants, trees are relatively rare on islands due to heavier seeds that don't float or can be carried by the wind and aren't eaten by birds, except the coconut, which floats. Land mammals are not good colonizers, which is why islands lack them, but there are some mammals on islands. The mammals that can reach islands are bats and seals. The colonization of islands is not probable, but given the amount of time islands have been around, the probability is larger. The probability after millions of years, the chance the island has been colonized at least once is about 63%. Furthermore, the animals and plants on islands are most similar to the species found on the nearest mainland.